Hey guys, Gavin here. So this is the first of hopefully many YouTube videos where I take songs that I like and analyze why I like them. Often there's something weird going on in terms of the music theory, so I'm going to be breaking down and analyzing these songs. So today we're going to be talking about a section of a song called Contact from a progressive metal band called the Contortionist. Well, let's listen to a version that I just made myself. In the original recording, the last harmony thing that I add, that's not there. So that's kind of a special thing just for this deal. So let's check it out. Cool, so that's how that sounds. To give you a very basic background, what I'm talking about when I talk about polymeter are two phrases that have pulses of the same tempo, but they repeat after different numbers of beats, resulting in kind of interlocking rhythms. What I mean by hypermeter is the number of bars in one phrase. So, if you are unfamiliar with these concepts, totally recommend checking out the Wikipedia articles on each of them. They are both very thorough. Anyway, given all that, let's go right into this. Alright, so here's kind of my MIDI version of the song where I have the chords and the melody and the drums all out as software instruments, and I'll just use this first to kind of like explain what's going on here. So kind of the backbone of the phrase here are the chords, and they are in 5/16th notes per chord, and there are 8 of them. So we can play that out real quick with the metronome. And the way that I hear it, let me kind of walk you through this. The way I hear this is that the drums are actually basically playing in 4 against this 5/16 phrase. So here's the drums actually playing in 4, or 8 technically here, and in that there is a kick that is 4/16 notes long, and then a snare that's 4/16 notes long, etc. And I have things sort of divided up visually here so you can see each phrase and where it ends and how they line up. So let's play that out real quick. And that's where the normal polymeter would line up again after that many measures of each. From this, there's only a slight complication that basically the drum part accommodates the 5/16 by moving some of the kick drums around, and there's an extra fill so that the phrase starts over again earlier. It starts over here after 8 bars of 5/16. Instead of starting over every 16 bars of 5/16 as it would naturally do in the polymetric sense. So I'll turn the metronome off to kind of understand what's going on now. You'll notice that the snares haven't moved, so that's kind of why I hear it as still being in 4, even though the kicks aren't really hitting on where they would if it were just playing straight 4/4. So let's hear that. listen to the snare. And this happens a lot with polymetric phrases. In order to have kind of a musically consonant phrase, instead of kind of writing out the entire cycle of each of these subdivisions against each other, we'll start one of them over sooner so that it's a musically consonant phrase, meaning that sort of our baseline hypermeter is something that makes sense to us. It's some multiple of 4 generally of our kind of main idea here, which is the chords, right? So now I'll move on to that's kind of rhythmically what the interlocking is going on, and now is the part that I would refer to as polyhypermeter, where in the context of just the chords themselves, there are 2 different phrases that are repeating in different numbers of bars. So I'll add the melody on top here, and we can see visually here, basically the length of the melodic phrase is actually 5 measures of 5/16. So because of that, if you see this first note here, it's lining up, each time it hits, it's lining up with a different chord in the chords phrase below. The first time, the first note of the melody is with chord 1. The second time it's with, I think that's chord 6 of the main chord phrase. The third time it's 1, 2 on the third one, etc. This one, as we can see here, it doesn't. It sort of follows out the cycle completely until at the end it's actually cut off a little bit early to move into the next section of the song. So I'll play this out in my lovely MIDI template here. And there you go. I think at least that the result is really lovely. I think it's a really great melody, and there's lots of cool stuff going on here. This is a great example of how polymetric, or now we have the term under our fingers, polyhypermetric phrasing can be this really interesting way to get more mileage out of just these simple ideas, right? We're not even doing anything crazy here. The harmonic rhythm is the same the entire time. There's just 1 chord per measure of 5/16, and same with the melody. There's a little bit of extra notes here and there, but it's not a crazy busy phrase necessarily. But because of all of these differing cycles and things like that, it's constantly developing. Every repetition is different from the last one. So there's a little bit of the polymeter and polyhypermeter that's going on in this section of the song. It really goes to show you just how much thought is being put into the various sections of all of this quote-unquote progressive music, and how interesting and fun and hard it is to write it. So there's my first video. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know if you think I am totally thinking about this the wrong way and I should be thinking of it in a different way. Comment if you've got any thoughts, and if you have any ideas for other songs that you want analyzed in this way, where there's something technical and interesting going on. So I'll see you guys next time.